All right. Welcome to Hot Takes and Headlocks, the only show where we interview you, pro wrestling fans, about your love for professional wrestling. I'm your host, Joe Zaletta. We have a great one for you tonight. But before we get to our guest, hit a clothesline from hell on that like and subscribe button on the Hardcore Sports Network Facebook and YouTube page. The best YouTube channel where you get all you need for all things sports, news, watch alongs, live reactions. If you're watching live, light up our interactive chat and be part of the conversation. Let us know where you're chatting to us from. The more engaged our audience is, the better we can make the show for you. And finally, if you want to leave us some feedback or you want to be on an upcoming Hot Takes and Headlocks episode, email me at hottakesandheadlocks@gmail.com so we can schedule you for a future show. And now, our guest tonight, he doesn't just set the bar for best WrestleMania parties. He is the bar for the best WrestleMania parties. The Metal Man, coming to us live from New Jersey. Here is the one and only Scott Pressmman, a.k.a. Hot Shot Scotty!
You had to pull that one out of the books, didn't you?
I have never forgotten that name. I thought it suited you perfectly back in the day. I'm probably the only one keeping it alive right
I
now.
don't know if it was either you or Brian when we were working at Parsippany that came up with that line. It was either you or him. Okay.
That was
You
definitely a
know,
Brian move. That was definitely a Brian move.
it was a Brian move. Okay.
Yeah. What's going on, man? Good to have you on the show. You
Thank
excited?
you. Thank you very much for the invite. It is appreciated. I know it's
Man,
been a while since you and I have, seen each other, hung out or anything, married, kids, lives,
of course,
well,
yeah.
the American nightmare, if you might
Yeah.
say. Okay, so it is
Yeah.
what it is. But thank you. I appreciate you reaching out to me a few weeks ago. I was on vacation last week, couldn't do it. So
Okay.
made arrangements to do it tonight. And again, thank you for having me on. It's appreciated.
I love that you are dressed for the occasion. I love the Bullet Club t-shirt.
Yeah. I actually have the flag for the Bullet Club also. Whenever I go traveling with my family, I have a three-pronged type of flagpole piece. I have an American flag in the middle. I have a Cobra Decepticon on one, but I have the Bullet Club on another one. And whenever we go traveling, people come by. Like last year, one guy just was walking by, just yelled out, "Too sweet," and I was like, "Damn right," And it was. I'm a big fan of them. I followed them in for years in New Japan. Started actually with the AJ Styles era, then with the whole Kenny Omega thing, then with Adam Cole, all of them. I've gotten away from the New Japan stuff. But I'm getting more back into it because of AEW, Forbidden Door. I try to catch it, online sometimes, but it's hard to catch the New Japan stuff online,
There's
So
so there is so much wrestling out there, man. Like back in the day, all we had was WWF or WCW. Then we had ECW. Then the only thing out there was WWE. So nowadays, it's just so different
oh yeah,
how many options there are for us to watch. And I believe it every time somebody says it. This is the best time to be a wrestling fan, without a doubt.
it is definitely not right this minute because we have to have that moment of silence for the immortal one.
Yeah.
I was on vacation last week and Tuesday, one of my friends texted me. He goes, "Ozzy died,"
Oh,
and I'm like, I don't know how you want. I don't know if we're allowed profanity on this or not.
yeah, dude, please.
Okay, fine. I get the text, "Ozzy died." I'm like, what the fuck you talking about? Ozzy's immortal. Okay, Ozzy. Okay, if Keith Richards isn't gonna die, Ozzy will never die. Okay, it happens. 2 days later, I get a text from another friend of mine. Hulk Hogan's dead. I'm like, I'm a Gen Xer, man. These are the people I grew up idolizing. I look online. Hulk Hogan's dead. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Earlier in the week, Malcolm Jamal Warner, Connie Stevens, and then there was like one or two Chuck Mangione. I was like, I'm on vacation this week and everybody's dropping dead. What the hell? But
It was a bad
in
week, man.
an
It was a
hour
bad week last week.
of wrestling, Hulk Hogan passing is a really big shock to the system for all of us
Yeah.
because we all thought he was in great health and everything. What was it, a cardiac arrest, I think?
That's what I've heard. That's not the official, we haven't gotten the official cause of death yet, but what's circulating around the dirt sheets is cardiac arrest. Yeah.
All them goddamn steroids. Anyway.
Yeah. And
But
we're going to get
this is the best time to be. They said on the EW, this is the best time to be a professional wrestling fan right now.
Yeah.
You know, I watch WWE on Monday nights. I'll be honest with you, I don't care for NXT as much as I used to. Go back to the COVID era and a little after that. Okay. Like when Adam Cole was in there and, various other people, when it was really felt like it was unscripted. But then when they went to that NXT 2.0, I lost complete interest in it. The
Black and Gold era.
The only thing I will tell you this that's drawn me slightly back into NXT is one specific female wrestler, and that's Sol Ruka.
Ooh, okay.
She's very good looking. That soul snatcher piece of hers. Yeah. I'll just leave it at that.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. There's a lot that I want to talk to you about.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm excited, why I was specifically excited for having you on, man, is because, dude, you have been watching wrestling even longer than I have. I started watching mid 90s. WrestleMania 12 was my first WrestleMania.
WrestleMania 2 was my first one I watched.
There you go, man. So like there's so much to cover about things that we know, but there's also so much that I've yet to discover about the era or eras before I started watching wrestling. So there's a lot to cover, but I want to start off with the same question I ask every guest at the very beginning of the show. All right. So
will this incriminate me in any way, shape, or form?
No, man. No, you're safe. You're safe. All right. So let's start at the beginning. All right.
Yeah.
What is your earliest memories watching pro wrestling?
My father getting WrestleMania 2, which at that time is what they called CCTV, the closed circuit TV. This was like way before. This is like when cable TV really first came out, like in New Jersey. It was TKR. You would have to go to specific places or have a specific kind of like hookup in your home to watch these closed circuit TV events. And the first one I ever watched was WrestleMania 2, which was, if I remember correctly, from 3 separate areas. I think it was New York, Chicago, and LA, if I remember correctly. And at that time, these things cost like $100, to get these kind of pay-per-view events. And my dad just got it. He was interested in it from previous time. And I caught the bug. I caught the bug on it. Next thing you know is I ended up finding out that on Channel 5 in the late 80s was WWF Superstars and WWF Challenge, something Challenge or something. Or it was an hour-long program. You had the main person and the jobber. That's all it was. That was my first real intake of it. I did not get the pay-per-views or anything like the WrestleManias at that time. They brought out SummerSlam. They brought out Survivor Series, then the Rumble. I did watch on pay-per-view the very first SummerSlam, and I actually still have a bootleg VHS copy of it stored away in my basement. Okay, with some other old, I'm talking like beginning late 80s, 90s wrestling pay-per-views. Still downstairs in my basement. Haven't been touched in like 30 plus years. Take them out of the box, you're probably going to crumble away as dust.
Who do you remember being the first, or one of the first superstars watching on TV?
take Hulk Hogan out of the picture because everybody knew about him. Or actually take a lot of the big names out of the picture at that time. Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, the Ultimate Warrior. Take those guys out of the picture. I would probably have to say it was Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And the reason being is when I was a kid, we used to vacation in Glens Falls, New York. And every year when we would go up there, if the timing was right at the Glens Falls Civic Center, they would have a WWF show. And the main attraction was always Hacksaw Jim Duggan because he lived supposedly about 3.5 miles from the Civic Center itself.
No way.
Yeah. So that was my big attraction to him, is because I'm vacationing and this guy lives like 5 miles from where we're staying. This is so cool. You know, he was probably the one that really I remember the most, except for those big names.
Oh, wow. And your first, and you said your first WrestleMania was WrestleMania 2, right?
Yeah.
So what, I'm sure WrestleMania 2 holds a very dear place in your heart because it was your first one, right? What is your biggest takeaway from WrestleMania 2?
Watching an actual live event on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Wrestling Challenge, Superstars, that stuff was all pre-recorded. Watching an actual live event on TV is the biggest part of it. So, and then a couple of weeks later, I could go into like my local newsstand type shop. They would have the copies of the programs, and I could, later on down the road, I could buy the programs that they had from there. So,
what was the main event for WrestleMania 2?
Was it? I want to say, God, I can't even remember. No, Hogan, Mr. T. That was WrestleMania 1.
Right.
I want to say, was it Hogan and Andre? I think.
No, that was 3.
That was 3.
It was.
I can't remember for the life of me.
It's all good. It was Hogan versus King Kong Bundy in the
steel cage.
Yeah.
In the cage. Now I remember because you had that weird looking blue 1 foot by 1 foot square type looking cage at the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice, man. So you became a fan in the 80s, and now that is at peak Hulkamania time.
Yeah.
So reflecting back then, what did Hulkamania mean to you?
Hulkamania at that time meant to me that they were trying more to promote the wrestling industry, to try and get it out to the masses. Okay. And the way to do it was using that babyface character, Hulk Hogan. Okay. And doing like go from city to city to city. We'll get the kids involved, yada yada yada, that kind of thing. It never came around to this Jersey area. If it did, it was out in New York City or something, in Manhattan on Times Square or whatever. Mm-hmm. I never got it. Was I a Hulkamaniac? Yes. Have I always been one? Yes. To a point, I've always respected, Hulk Hogan. Okay. But being a Hulkamaniac, yes, I was. But I wasn't that big into it because it was one of those things like they're just using it as a promotional gimmick to get the name of the federation at that time out there to the masses. Because they were just doing small little, arenas, that hold like 2,000 people at the time. Not like it is today.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Now, when you were into when you were watching wrestling, you got into it, 80s and everything. What was I guess at that time, how did people feel about wrestling? Did you ever get the occasional, oh, you watch that fake stuff, right? Like
all the freaking time.
All the time. So So what was your rebuttal to that? If someone said to you, "Why do you watch that? That's fake." How would you defend pro wrestling? This is what you're into. This is what you love. Your passion for it is growing. How are you defending it?
I told people it's just something I watch on TV. It's just something I enjoyed watching. I would tell people it's and I've said this to you in the past. It is a male version of a soap opera. Okay. It's a male version of a soap opera. It was a continuous story on a weekly basis that made you say, okay, this is what happened to him this week. What's going to happen next week or the week after? People said it's fake. Yeah, it's fake. Fine. So is everything else in life. Okay. It's just something I enjoy watching. That's it. It's scripted. Yes. Fine. It's giving me something to watch on TV instead, to occupy my time for an hour. That's all.
Yeah, yeah, man. I ran into those same conversations as well. I At the time, I didn't really know how to respond because I was I was such a fan to it that there's a lot of stuff that I found myself believing at first. Like in '96, I'm uh, I'm 10 years old. So yes, I as soon as '98 comes around, yes, I believe that Kane is the Undertaker's brother. I believe that Mark Henry and Mae Young are actually having a relationship with one another. I was so deep into it that whenever someone would come up and say to me, dude, that's fake, right?" I'd be like, "What are you talking about?" And then afterwards, slowly, I gradually I became more a smarter fan, realizing that this is a show. But even knowing that, it didn't change my perspective on it, because I watch Power Rangers. Okay, are the Power Rangers real? No, they're not real. It's a show. So there
It,
there there were things that I did believe, but gradually I was coming, I
coming
was
around
becoming more wise to what was going on.
at that age, it's pure entertainment that was grabbing the attention of someone like yourself at that age, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, you were dragged into it, you brought into it. It was the same with me in the '96 area. I actually did not watch the WWE. It was on the USA Network, and at that time, the cable system I had did not support it, but it supported TBS and TNT.
Okay.
So I was not part, and still to this day, don't remember a lot of the Rock, Austin, McMahon, DX era. I was the NWO era.
Ooh, okay.
I was there from day one. I bought the pay-per-view in 90 July of '96. Bash at the Beach.
Dash at the beach. Yep.
It was me and three or four of my friends at my house at the time watching it. We're enjoying the pay-per-view. Here comes that main event. Who's the mystery third guy? Out comes Hogan. There's the leg drop that started it. I have it actually in my phone because it's NWO Day, July 7th, 1996.
Yep.
That was the day of the birth of the NWO, and I was part of that era. Okay. But for somebody at that time, like you said, if they're 10, 11 years old, they're doing things to just grab their attention, to
Yep.
keep them glued to the TV. Where someone my age at that time says, yeah, I know this is fake, but they are going on such a storyline that you're like sitting on top of the TV saying, what is going to happen next?
Yeah.
You know, it's the way that they develop these things for the storylines, for the plots and everything, to grab the attention of a 10-year-old versus a 20 versus a 40-year-old person. So
Around the time I started, I found myself gravitating to the ones that were getting pushed the most, right? And my heroes, when I first started watching wrestling, my heroes were Shawn Michaels and Bret the Hitman Hart. If I had to pick between the two, my hero was Bret Hart. To me, if I were to compare him to something right now, if I were to describe Bret Hart back then to somebody now, he was at that time the Captain America of the WWF.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
He was the Captain America of the WWF. I wanted to be one of those kids sitting in the aisle. He stops, he looks at you, and what does he do? He gives you a pair of sunglasses.
It's that old commercial, the kid in the tunnel. Hey, Brett! He turns around, the hair whipping around and everything.
Yeah.
You know.
So what about you? Who were your first heroes watching professional wrestling? And who are your heroes now?
Oh, Jesus. Back when I first started watching wrestling, I didn't really have any heroes or villains that I liked. I just enjoyed watching it in general. As it got into the mid-late 90s, like I said, I was on the WCW piece, so I was a full-blown out NWO guy. I had the t-shirt. They were selling it at Kmart at the time. I was walking through South Amboy, and some guy said, somebody wearing the shirt walking down the street, and he yelled out literally, "The NWO sucks." And I was like, yeah, I've always been more about the heels than the baby faces because they just have more personality than the baby faces do.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. In the WCW days, I was a full-blown NWO guy, but I was also a big supporter of Diamond Dallas Page. Who else? Oh God. I was definitely a Sting fanatic.
Oh,
when he went from Beach Boy to the Crow, I was like, okay, now you've got my attention. Him just sitting up in the rafters, just hanging out there, that black and white makeup, just like the Crow, like Brandon Lee at that. He got that inspiration from the Crow from Brandon Lee from the graphic novel.
Yeah.
But moving forward, my all-time favorite guy has always been Triple H. Okay. I started watching him in the WCW days as Terrorize. God, I can't even say that garbage name.
Terrorizing.
Yeah. To Jean-Paul Levesque, then to Hunter Hearst Helmut, and the whole thing. But then when he changed over to the whole Triple H thing is when I lost the content on cable. Go to the WCW when that literally started taking off for the Monday Night Wars. Then they brought in the Thunder, on a TBS. But then when I was able to start watching WWE again a good number of years ago, I want to say it was around WrestleMania 20, maybe, which I almost went to because I was at Madison Square Garden.
Oh, yes, it was.
I almost had a ticket to that. Almost. I just got really back into it. The Undertaker was getting more and more, dark presence. Then he went to the Badass era. I've had a lot of favorites over the years. You want to talk about today? I am more of an AEW guy now than WWE. I think the WWE is still so scripted on things. Okay.
Very polished.
Yeah, versus AEW is just like, okay, full blown out, with no bullshit. Okay.
Yeah.
They have a couple cheesy storylines, yes. But a lot of their stuff feels like it's actually, real. Like no holds barred, no pulling punches or anything. We've all seen the candid videos, of like during COVID, there was a video that was leaked of a match between Alexa Bliss, who's still still my future ex-wife.
I know the video you're talking about, by the way. I know what's coming.
And her and Bailey.
Yeah.
You remember that video?
Yeah.
And then there was a leaked footage from about 2 years ago of somebody cutting a rope with Finn Balor on top of it.
Oh, I don't know this one.
Yeah, I forgot what it was from, but somehow somebody got a video of somebody coming out from the side of the ring and did something to the rope while like a light was blacked out then and cutting a rope or something. Like that. So, but
Oh, and he was about to do the coup de grace,
coup de
and
grace,
the
yeah.
rope, the turnbuckle collapsed, and
I
he
think that's
lost the
it. Yeah.
title match. Yeah. I
Yes.
remember this
I
now.
think that was it. You move up to now within the past like number of years, I was a big fanatic of Lucha Underground.
Okay.
Okay. That, I've known about Lucha Libre and everything, but that introduced me to a lot of people. I am a huge Penta fan.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I have been watching him since I first learned about him in Lucha Underground. He was in AAA, he was on CMML. Then he went to and when he was introduced to AEW with Ray Fenix,
Yeah.
I was like, these guys are gonna tear shit up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That steel cage match they had with the Bucks, okay, at all in, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago, was a complete masterpiece of a match.
My
Um,
first AEW show that I attended, it was in January, Prudential Center. Not this past, it was, I believe it was 2 or 3 years ago. And the main event was uh it was Jack Perry and who was what was the name of his tag partner back then? Uh
Luchasaurus.
yes, thank you. Jack Perry and Luchasaurus versus the tag champs at the time, Ray Phoenix and Penta Cero Miedo. And watching these guys go, I was so impressed by them. I remember, I think one of them got injured. I think Ray Phoenix got injured in that match. But I remember watching them. It's like, this is amazing. The work that these guys are doing is bar none one of the best that I've seen.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
that night, it was Jack Perry and Luchasaurus that won the titles that night. They won the tag titles.
I've seen two events at the Prudential, both AEW. The first one I went to was the night that Adam Cole debuted his first match.
Ooh,
Okay. CM Punk was supposed to be on commentary for something he got, and that's my first time ever seeing CM Punk live. But he got like attacked like at the announcer's table when he was on the stage at the time. And then I think the following year, which was 22, that was 21, 22, me and my daughter went to Full Gear.
nice.
Okay, where MJF, my boy, okay. I'm a huge MJF guy. He is my scumbag.
So,
Won the title from Samoa Joe, I think it was that night, if I remember
oh,
correctly,
that's
in the
awesome,
main
man.
event. You know, um, the,
I went to Full Gear last year, and I have had such great experiences. Experiences. I had such a great experience going to an AEW pay per view. It was you can definitely tell that they put a lot more love into pay per views than they do the Dynamite shows. Um,
yes,
they put a
yes.
lot more love into it. I feel like it's a lot more well thought out. The way the order in which the matches are booked makes sense
Hmm.
on their pay per views more so than they do on Dynamite, in my opinion. What was the first wrestling event that you went to live?
My high school gym.
Yeah.
The WWF at the time was doing their normal touring things. And this was probably, I graduated in 93. So the place is like maybe 94, 95 area. They did it in my high school. So me and three of my buddies, we got tickets for it. They had the ring set up, the whole 9 yards. And the main event, I don't remember who was in the main event, who we fought, but it was King Mabel.
Wow, Mabel days.
Okay. King Mabel versus somebody. I don't remember who it was. It was like 6 or 7 matches. They did autographs afterwards. If you paid like a couple bucks, it was like $10. You could get your picture taken inside the ring. I was like, for $10, what the hell? I'll get inside the ring. Okay. They
But
did 2
you've been
pictures.
in a WWF at the time. You've been in a WWF ring.
Technically, yes.
That is so cool.
I have the pictures somewhere. I don't know where they are, but there's a picture of me inside the ring that my buddy took with my disposable camera at the time of me standing right next to the turnbuckle where with the WWF logo, where it was that old like squared yellow.
Yeah.
Okay. Logo, not like the scratch looking one.
Okay.
That was my very first live wrestling event.
Wow, man.
I'd have to say between the WWF, E, and AEW, at WCW, when WCW used to come around, especially to Nassau Coliseum, me and my other friend Joe, who I used to work with at the Hilton at the time, used to drive all the way out from the from like the East Brunswick Sayreville area all the way out to Long Island to go see. It was either Nitro or Thunder at the time.
Yeah.
Between all those federations, I'd have to say I had probably been to maybe 30 live wrestling events over a 30-year period.
Wow. That's crazy, man. You
Tickets
definitely
weren't expensive back in the 90s. So
you
they
definitely have you've like lapped me 4, 5, 6 times over because I definitely have not been to that many live events. My first live event that I went to was a Road to WrestleMania match, 1996. It was when they WrestleMania 12 had, I guess, 2 main events, if you want to call it that. It was really Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart Iron Man match, but they had Diesel and Shawn Michaels tag teaming against Bret Hart and The Undertaker. Wasn't televised. It was really more like a house show, but they had Kevin Nash, Diesel, turn on Shawn Michaels in the middle of the tag match. He hit him with the steel chair, and that is what that was lighting the fire that would then be paid off at an In Your House pay-per-view later that year for Good Friends, Better Enemies. And you would have Shawn Michaels as the champion defending the title against Diesel.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Talking about like tag teams and going to so many shows. Let me see. I had my 2007 house show, Trenton, New Jersey. I don't remember what it was called, but now it's like the Cure Arena. Okay. I can honestly say I had at least seen once in my life the Brothers of Destruction.
Oh my gosh.
The main event was MVP and I don't remember who versus The Undertaker and Kane. So I can actually say that at least once in my life I've seen the Brothers of Destruction live.
I have seen Kane live. I've seen Undertaker live.
Yep.
I've never seen the Brothers of Destruction live. Talk to me about what the energy feels like when you have the Brothers of Destruction coming out and doing their entrance.
The place was going nuts. You had the Undertaker's music playing because he came out second. Kane was waiting on the stage. Out comes the Undertaker. They've got the lights flickering. You got the Undertaker's music, but they had flames going at the same time. And I was like, that's it. I'm done. If there's nothing else in my life that I get to live for, except for my marriage, I'm done. I've seen the Brothers of Destruction live. I'm happy. I'm a happy son of a bitch. That's it. So, but yeah, to see that line, just going to any of these events, the only drawback, and I know you'll agree with me, is not hearing anything. The commentary. When I took my daughter to go to Full Gear a couple of years ago. Yeah, there's a dog.
Somebody's walking in right now. It's all good.
My daughter thought it was weird just hearing boom, boom, all that, but not hearing anybody talk. She thought it was a little weird. I said, you got to get used to that kind of a thing. That, if you go to live events, It's what you got to work with. But that's when you go back home, you find it online, and then you rewatch it to listen to everything.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it is such a different experience going and being so conditioned to hear the commentary,
Mm-hmm.
but now you're live, you don't hear any commentary. You only hear promos or backstage segments. That's it. Like you're watching pro wrestling in front of you in its raw form without the commentary. So it is a little something to get used to at first, but you in my opinion you end up getting consumed by the energy of the crowd at that
Mm-hmm.
point.
Unless you're a guy that was sitting in 2 rows in front of me when I went to the lot, when I went to the first AEW show, not Full Gear, who had an iPad with him and is watching Dynamite on his iPad, because at that time it was available to be watched on streamed off of TBS or TNT, whichever one at that time. He's watching it on the iPad. So when I went to a commercial, I walked around and said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm listening to the show while I'm watching it live." I'm like, "That's insane, dude."
Wait, so he was at an AEW show live and he
Yes.
was watching AEW on his iPad to hear the commentary.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. that is someone who cannot let go of the commentary.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
I enjoy listening to the commentary. I the AEW guys between Shivani, Excalibur, and Taz is like a freaking comedy routine. Last night I'm watching AEW. The first match, it's the Bucks versus the Outrunners. What's the first thing Taz says? "I'm looking at the Outrunners, and now I need to go get myself a pack of Newports,"
Oh my god.
because their
That's
tights
fast.
were
Yeah.
the white, and it went to that teal color of like the Newport cigarettes box. I thought of that the same thing before you even said it. I was like, it looks like they're wearing a pack of Newports on their tights, you
Uh-huh.
know. But the comedy routine that some of these guys between the three of them is just freaking hilarious. Okay, I don't know about your thoughts on the commentators, but those three guys know how to do their stuff. They're calling all the wrestling moves. They're saying, Taz's favorite line, "Yam bag Yahtzee." Okay, but you listen to the WWE guys, they're always talking more about the storylines and everything. There's a
Yep. Yep.
clothesline, there's a leg drop. You know, they don't tell you the actual moves like the other guys do.
Yeah, no, they don't. And AEW takes that approach very much from ECW days, man. When
Yes,
when when you would have what Joey, what's his name? Commentator
Joey
from
Styles.
Joey Styles. Thank you. When Joey Styles even cut a promo on a WWE Raw at one point about how they want him to sound more like JR and
Yep,
tell stories and not call out the moves.
and that's the night he quit.
And that's the night that he quit.
Yep,
And
yep.
they have stuck to him quitting because, correct me if I'm wrong, he has not been back on WWE programming at all since then.
No, he's not. As far as I know, they never brought him back or anything. I met him and I got his autograph at New York Comic Con back in Christ. I can't remember what year. It was like at least 8 or 9 years ago, and he was charging $20 for autographs and pictures.
Wow.
$20. Now these days you go to these autograph signings, like at what's that place in Lafayette? Off 15.
Oh, the wrestling collector.
Yeah, no, Pandora.
Oh, Pandora's box. Yeah.
Pandora's Toy Box.
Yeah.
I looked it up. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to be home because I'm going to be away for that weekend. But one guy I'm really, really following for not a lot of years, Karrion Kross. Okay?
Hell yeah.
He's going to be up there with Scarlett that Saturday. I'm going to be in Pennsylvania for the weekend. I called him just for the hell of it to ask how much are tickets. He goes, the tickets are like $85, and that includes one autograph and one picture with your own camera. You know, so what these guys charge now these days for pricing is insane.
Yeah.
And I can give you an example of something. Let me roll over here. So, and what I'm going to say, I mean no disrespect to any of these guys. These guys are making a living. Okay, so they, when they do the comic book shows or the wrestling events or whatever, they got to charge for their stuff. And you got people out there who will drop hundreds of dollars to get the pictures and autographs. This past end of June was Garden State Comic Fest in the Cody Arena out in front of Turtleback Zoo. Okay. Sergeant Slaughter was there. Okay. I said, okay, fine. You know what? I'm going to get the Funko Pop of him. And I have 2 of the old school G.I. Joe cards. Saturday rolls around. I go to, I'm working the whole event type thing. I told my boss, Val, be right back and go to check it out. She goes, fine. I walk over. It cost me $120, okay, for pictures with him, okay, which I can show you on my phone if you want me to. I was put in, there was 2 or 3 regular pictures. I was put into the Cobra clutch.
Me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got the his challenge coin.
Yep.
Okay. You got the coin also?
I got the coin as well, yeah. Oh shit.
That's the original G.I. Joe card from his original first figure. And I got that signed. $120.
Wow.
Was it worth it? Yes. Because I got to meet one of my idols of growing up between wrestling and cartoons. But what they charge for these things now these days, it's ridiculous. It's expensive. This is Sergeant Slaughter. I can only imagine if you went to a signing for Seth Rollins or Kenny Omega, okay, or any of those big names, what they would charge. He was signing Funko Pops. He wanted $85 just to sign Funko Pops because it's a primary or a premium signature piece versus like the card there or a picture or something.
Damn.
I can only imagine what these guys charge now. We got SummerSlam this weekend. Okay. They're doing signings at the Mall of America, I think, between today and tomorrow. I can only imagine what these people are charging for signatures and photos.
They're going for as low as $40 because I'm going to the American Dream to do some meet and greets actually.
Okay, so this is where we end the whole talk now. I would only go if Penta was going to be going there because, like I said, I'm a fanatic. My daughter loves him also.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't take off of work and everything to go, but I would pay just to meet him. That's it.
He's going to be there, man. If something changes, he is scheduled to be there to do meet and greets at American Dream Mall.
I almost, me and my friend Tommy almost got to meet him and Frey Fenix at the first AEW show we went to. But by the time we got there, they had already finished with the meet and greets, and we missed them maybe like 20 minutes. And I was like, that's what you get for getting to my house late, you jackass.
For a while, as AEW was trying to build up its brand, its show, sign a lot of superstars for a while, and I think it's still done to today to an extent. You're gonna you have wrestling fans now, your own people talking about how this promotion sucks because it does this, and this one is better because this it doesn't do this like the other one does it, right? So and so off and so forth. So have similar to what I asked you before, but from an AEW / WWE perspective, how what do you find yourself saying to wrestling fans who say that the product that you like the most right now, AEW, is not as good as WWE.
If there's people out there that say that the WWE is better than AEW, I tell them they're wrong. They're wrong. AEW is, in my eyes, is professional wrestling versus WWE is sports entertainment. Okay. And to prove that fact, I think it's Netflix is coming out with a show called Unreal. It's going to show. They're scripting everything. There was a commercial for it on YouTube I saw where they're talking to the referee saying, okay, whoever it is going to come towards you or towards that person with a steel chair. And they show it as a split screen type thing. Now, yes, do the referees in AEW wear earphones? Yes, they do. But they have publicly said online they only wear those headphones because it tells them, okay, this one's in this corner. Okay, raise up the belt. They're going to do a tight shot on the belt. That's it. Okay. I tell it that's my outlook on it.
Mm-hmm.
I tell them wrestling is not fake. Okay, for one reason, I've been put through a table. I've been hit with kendo sticks. That shit hurts. My adolescent youth in the 90s.
Damn.
Okay.
Kendo sticks and you got put through a table.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to have to delve a little bit deeper with that, but go ahead and finish your point.
Right. But in my eyes, wrestling is not fake. It's real. Whether you want to consider it scripted or not scripted, whatever. These guys they're fighting each other. They are grabbing each other, kicking each other. They are being put through tables. They're getting hit with chairs, sticks, whatever. That shit hurts.
I agree with you with everything that you said right there.
You do know that they do not, the WWE, AEW, they don't have health insurance.
Nope. Independent contractors.
Yep. They're independent. Yep. You break your leg, you're paying for it all on your own, bucko.
Well, from what I understand, if they get injured during the match, then WWE pays the bill, right? But if they get injured outside of them performing, then they have to cover that bill on their own. Yeah,
that's what I've been told also.
I don't know if that's
like
just
the Liv Morgan
WWE
incident from a couple of weeks ago.
does the same thing as well, but that's just what I've heard in interviews.
That's like the Liv Morgan incident from a couple of weeks ago. That was not a scripted thing. That was a true accident where she hurt herself.
Yeah.
They cover that because it was during work hours, you might say.
Yeah.
But if you're on a skiing trip and you break your leg skiing, you're on your own.
So what you mean is if you're a wrestler and you go climb Mount Everest, right?
Okay, Darby.
We're just going to use Darby Allin as an example. If you're climbing Mount Everest and you're a pro wrestler and you break your leg climbing down, he's on his own for that. Unless you got
I would assume so.
That he's gonna cover the bill for that.
Yeah, I would assume so.
No, but going back to your point, I agree with everything that you said because, dude, if pro wrestling was fake, explain to me how Mick Foley getting tossed off a Hell in a Cell, landing where he landed on top of the announcer's desk. Explain to me how that is fake. Explain to me how he does not feel that.
Explain to me if it's fake. How what's his name from Eminem at the time? It was Johnny Mercury, Molina, the Hardy Boys. The lower of the two guys.
Yeah.
Explain to me how it's fake that when that ladder hit his head, he literally slashed his head open.
Yep.
Okay. Explain to me how was it All In? No. The most, not All In, but the pay-per-view before that with AEW, that it was a no-holds-barred match, women, that the two women came out. Next thing you know is they were putting tape over their hands. Okay. I forgot what the title is of that kind of a fight, because the only other time I ever saw it was in ECW, but they had glass on the tape.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Explain to me how that stuff is fake.
Yeah. And that when you start
Type A
hearing
death
like
match. That's it. Type A death match.
Type A death match. And then when you bring up the question like that, when you phrase a question like that, that's when you start hearing them pedal back like, well, that's the exception, right? Like,
Mm.
no, man. Like, yes, everything is predetermined. You are 100% right about that. But the what happens in the ring, like there are wrestlers that are stiff with other wrestlers. That's how they work. They are stiff. You hear the shots uh, when they hit a chop or then when they hit a forearm. Uh, all that stuff is real. That's how the match is structured. Whether they have an agent or a producer, whatever you want to call it, but while everything is predetermined, the shots that they take, the kendo sticks, the chair shots, like you know, it may be taboo to bring up his name, but explain to me how Chris Benoit has CTE. Explain to me how all those chair shots did not lead to him having a messed up brain.
Mm-hmm. Explain to me. Well, actually, not even that. It was a show on HBO back in the mid late '90s. It was a talk show. Okay, kind of like a Jon Stewart type thing, but I forgot who the host was. He was like a former comedian. It was Sting, Medusa. I want to say Bobby Heenan for some reason, and Roddy Piper. It was a sit down interview type talk show type thing. And they got into the topic of wrestling is fake. What happens? Roddy stands up and literally drops his pants, showing the scars on his back, on his leg, his
Yep.
side, the whole 9 yards, and how he got them at the same time. Okay. Explain to me why people say it's fake. You want to say it's fake because it's storylines and pre-scripted? Fine. This shit ain't fake, man. It's not. These are people. Look at. I'll give you two names, and one of them just passed away. Draws. Okay. He was injured in the ring. Handicap. Neck down. The other one.
For the rest
Owen
of his
Hart.
life. Owen Hart. Yeah.
That was not scripted, man. Him falling, that was not. He was supposed to rappel down, hit the ring, done. That line snapped.
Yep.
It's not fake, and I will always defend it.
And I know we strayed away a little bit, talking about AEW versus others, and just to go back to that, it is okay to like all brands or some brands of professional wrestling. If you're strictly a TNA guy, that is okay. If you're strictly AEW or you're strictly just WWE, that is okay. There is no right or wrong promotion that you want to stick to watching. If you want to watch all of them, if you have the time to consume weekly wrestling content from all these different promotions, dude, more power to you. I wish I could do that. There is just too much nowadays, but there is no wrong promotion.
There isn't. No, you got Raw on Monday. You got NXT Tuesday, AEW Dynamite on Wednesday. I don't know what days they do Dynamite. I don't know what day. Not Dynamite. I'm sorry. TNA Impact. You got Ring of Honor. If you can find somehow, you got SmackDown on Fridays. If you can find somewhere to watch GCW, okay. I just started getting into that because of Matt Cardona and because of Nick Gage. Side note, he's going to be at Pandora's Box also. Yeah. Okay. Then you got New Japan. If you got the time to watch all this stuff, I hope you got some kind of job that's paying you six figures, man, if you work from home. Because there ain't enough time in the week to watch all this shit.
No,
okay.
There's too much going on.
Yeah, exactly. And there's so much crossover, which I like about AEW, that I like about the WWE. AEW started in conjunction with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay. Then they brought in the CMLL. Okay. A couple of years ago, before CMLL, it was AAA. Now the WWE bought AAA. They work in conjunction with the TNA. When Vince was in charge with WWE, you would have never seen CMLL or AAA or TNA. Never. It was strict in their contract, supposedly. You work for me, you cannot perform anywhere else.
Yep.
I think it was Brian Danielson who was the first one to break that door down and said, I can't live just on this. I need to work the indies also. And that's what started the whole thing.
Did you watch WrestleMania 40?
Yes.
Okay, so
From Philly, yeah.
From Philly, Cody Rhodes finishes the story and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was watching the All In highlights of the pay-per-view. I saw the highlights for Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page. Now, I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I noticed some similarities in the execution of the creative between Hangman Adam Page versus John Moxley and the Death Riders, and Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. The similarities that I noticed is you got a champion who has taken the title belt hostage. He's got a long reign, and obviously the reigns, there's a difference between 9 months and 4 to 5 years and stuff. But still, you have a champion backed by a faction, champion for a long amount of time. You have your, what I like to describe as the Avengers type of finish, where you have so many run-ins, and then finally the champion is dethroned. Your hero becomes the world champion. Talk to me about the similarities between the two, and did you notice the similarities before I mentioned them? And what are your thoughts on that?
I'll be very honest with you. I didn't notice the similarities. I know if you want to talk about similarities about like the storylines or something, yes. Cody was fighting for a while trying to get that title. Failed. Finally got it. Hangman recently, he was fighting with the Death Riders to try and get that title. He got it at All In. Okay. It's I'll be very honest with you. I didn't really see the similarities in it.
Probably just me.
Yeah. Everybody has their own way of looking at things. I tend not to compare one company to the other, because if I do that, I'm going to be like, they're doing this. Why are they doing this? Why can't they do this? Why don't they do this? Blah 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 blah. I try not to mix the two combined, except for a video that I saw online where from years ago, AEW, Brandy comes out to Jade Cargill for the open mic night line. Okay.
Yeah.
Cody goes to WWE, says the exact same line, like 4 years later for some reason.
Yeah.
But I tend not to look for the similarities in anything. I watch it for the pure, just like, with my industry, I smoke cigars. I work for a cigar company. I smoke cigars for the enjoyment of smoking cigars. I watch my wrestling for the enjoyment of just watching wrestling. It's something just takes me to a different area and just to my own time. Okay. Like I said, I don't look for the similarities in anything.
Yep. All good. I see those similarities, and honestly, when I did the comparison in my head, I was like, well, this is actually a major win for AEW. And I'll explain why. Because you gave John Moxley a run with the title that lasted for 9 to 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
And once you paid off him losing the title, it was as big, as exciting, it was as emotional investing as it was with Cody beating Roman Reigns for the title. And that loss, they built up that story for four to 4.5, 5 years to get to that point. AEW did that in less than a year.
Yeah.
And yes. I think you got to give credit to AEW where credit's due, because they were able to accomplish something that's similar in my eyes, but still you got such a creative win out of that. You have so much emotional investment in Hangman Adam Page. And it proves to me that although the Death Rider storyline was very much disliked, it did what it was supposed to do. You wanted to see Jon Moxley lose the title, and it all built up to this very violent Texas death match.
That
That's
was a good match.
That's what it took, and I just wanted to give AEW their flowers, man. They did such a good job when it comes to creative and making Hangman Adam Page the top guy right now. They did such a good job with that, and I don't think they get enough credit.
They don't have just like one top guy in AEW. They have several. Okay, you got Hangman. Okay, you got Omega. You've got Samoa Joe. Okay, you got Swerve. Okay, Swerve Strickland, who my daughter idolizes. She watches him, and she's like, I don't know how. She's trying to pull off that, move of his when he hits like one of the kicks or something. Next thing you know is he's like doing that little hunched over dance type thing of his. They have a number of main guys. Okay, the WWE, they only focus on like 2 or 3. You got Cena, you got Cody, you got Seth, you got Punk. That's it. And Jey Uso. Okay. Which, side note, is I'm getting sick and tired of this whole thing. Okay.
Oh, man, it's so over, bro. It's not going away anytime soon.
No, he comes out to the ring, and then he goes,
let's bring it back.
Let's roll it back. And I'm like, oh, my God, here comes another 5 minutes of my life wasted. And the way, don't get me wrong, he's a great performer, but you got to give this whole yeeting thing a rest. And for Christ's sakes, if you're going to get hooked up with Rhea Ripley because she was always doing the thing, also get it over and done with already, So, but they only have like a handful of main guys. Where in AEW, they make sure all their guys have, no matter who it is, has a major spotlight on them. They've never said in WWE that there was an actual. They have what they call the Mount Rushmore of WWE. Okay, I think it's Hogan, Bret Hart.
Who's they? Who has the Mount Rushmore of WWE?
No, it's like this thing they gave. It's like they've always said like these are the people who should be on the Mount Rushmore of WWE.
Okay.
One was Hogan, one was Bret Hart. I forgot who the other 2 are, but they still talk about it this day in AEW, the 4 pillars of AEW, which is MJF, Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and Jack Perry. Okay. Point being is that in AEW, they talk about all of their guys versus the WWE only focuses on like 4 or 5 specific people all the time.
Since we're talking about Mount Rushmore now, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask who is on your Mount Rushmore. Now, I'll give you the criteria.
Oh Christ!
I'll give you the criteria because Mount Rushmore could mean anything, right? Now, The criteria is wrestlers you have the fame factor, most famous wrestlers that did a lot for the business, merch sales and all that, but also the wrestlers that gave back to the business. Gave back as in the sense they helped elevate other wrestlers, superstars, whatever you want to call them. And we're opening this up to all promotions. Or if you want to keep it to one promotion, that's cool too.
I would probably say if we were keeping it to all promotions, one would definitely be Hogan, of course. Okay. Wow. The next would definitely be The Undertaker.
I had a feeling he was coming. I had a feeling.
Okay. Now, taking into consideration, there's names I'm just going to rattle off. It's not just going to be four, like the original, like Mount Rushmore. It's only four faces. But it's like, if we're going to really get into it, Triple H is another one. He's been there for like 30 years. Okay. He started as a jobber and worked his way up. And now look what he's worked himself into.
Yeah.
And he got one of my other future ex-wives. Okay. He got Stephanie.
He's a great pick, by the way. When it comes to Mount Rushmores, Triple H is terribly, terribly underrated. I can't tell you how many Mount Rushmores I've heard, and his name is not on it. So I'm very much surprised, but at the same time, I appreciate you for including him in your Mount Rushmore.
Let me see. It would have to be another head that would go up there. Would be Rey Mysterio, because he is one of the greatest. Okay, alongside of him would be Penta, because he's brought the new age, new direction of Lucha Libre. Go back to the past Royal Rumble. Who started the match? Rey Mysterio and Penta.
Mm-hmm.
Before the match even started, Penta walked right up to him, went, he did the signature bow. He stuck his hand out. They hugged. And next thing you know, these sons of bitches are flying all over the goddamn place.
Yeah.
Okay. I would have to say AJ Styles.
Oh, man.
I've been following AJ for over 20 years, since I first learned about him in TNA, when it was the Asylum in Nashville, if I remember correctly. And if you move forward to these days, you guys got, honestly, not even Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada, let me see, the Ace, oh God, I can't remember his freaking name. He's like the president of New Japan Pro Wrestling now, the Ace. Oh God. It's guys like those from each of those promotions are who I would make a huge Rushmore, because these are the names. These are the people who set the standards. They set the bars. They set the levels of what these organizations are meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now I'm going to have to look up that guy's name. God damn.
No worries, man. No worries. What have been your thoughts on? Actually, this is going to be a two-parter. Number one, what have been your thoughts on John Cena's heel run? And second part to that question is, what did you think of John Cena's heel turn? Did you see it coming?
It was about goddamn time.
It was about goddamn.
It was about goddamn time. If Hulk Hogan pulled it off in '96, nobody has had the heel turn like Cena did that night. I applaud him for it. I think his time came due after 20 plus years to tell the people to go themselves. Okay. It's just like when Hogan dropped the leg on Savage.
Yep.
Okay. Right there, turning his back on everybody. He wants to go out in his blaze of glory as the champion and as a heel.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Hogan did also. He turned heel in '96. He formed the NWO. It ran for 4 or 5 years before the whole thing just crumbled, especially at the end of the whole WCW era. It was about goddamn time. He was too much of a damn babyface. Being full-time, then going part-time, doing the movies, this and this. I look at it this way. He turned heel. Why? He snapped. He had so much going on in his life that he says, you know what? I'm done with everybody. To hell with everybody. I'm working on my terms now.
Yep.
I was watching that live on Peacock, and when that leg went, when I saw the look on his face when The Rock went like this, I said, shit's going to happen right now. I'm watching on my computer. I see that like this. I went, okay, You have my attention now. I'm literally on top of the screen going, and there's the kick, and I'm like, that's it. That's it. You got every single kid that had a Make-A-Wish with him say, what the did you just do?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm reliving
The
it
highest
as
rated
you're describing
Make-A-Wish
it.
person in
Yep.
history just told every single kid in Make-A-Wish, I just screwed all of you.
I'm reliving it as you're describing it. John Cena turning heel. We got to the point where, I think it's fair to say the world had given up on the idea of John Cena having a heel run. He's in his retirement world tour. It's pretty clear he's gonna retire as a babyface. And what happens? Kick to the nuts to Cody.
Oh, yeah.
And the world kind of like stopped at that point. I think that a moment like that, right, like the seconds following after he hit Cody in the nuts, the world could have stopped. Like everybody stopped breathing for a second. The last time I recall something like that happening is when Undertaker's streak came to an end, and Brock Lesnar beat him at WrestleMania 30.
21-1. Yep.
Yep.
I found it hilarious with the heel turn that the next day, I'm sitting in my office, I'm working on my computer. Bottom of the right-hand screen, you get that little ticker, it's, for the news articles and everything. My mouse, ran over it for one of the programs I had to do. Pops up, CNN, John Cena turns heel. Right next to it, USA Today. Biggest heel turn in wrestling history, John Cena. I clicked them up, and next thing you know, I'm seeing it from CNN, USA Today, Fox News, ESPN. You think you only see these things like on the wrestling websites or something? No, this shit's on freaking major websites. And John Cena turned heel.
Yep.
And next thing you know, as you're watching, I watched it later that Monday. The post scrum report they call it. Okay, he comes out. I listened to the whole thing. I'm like, holy shit, he's really working this whole heel thing right now.
Yep.
It was. I said it was about goddamn time he did it.
Mm-hmm.
It was time. And then WrestleMania comes around. He walks out for his championship match. You see, they start playing his music and everything. Then it just goes black. All you see is black screens. John Cena. That's all it says. No music, no pyro, no nothing. And he's disgracing the title by wearing it backwards.
Yep.
That's the ultimate insult to the title, is that a lot of people don't know that they wear it turned around like that. It's that they're disgracing the title. It's like Moxley with having it in a briefcase for 9 months.
What were your thoughts on the reasoning he gave us as far as, I'm not changing my look. I'm keeping everything the same. You're not. I'm not getting into different gear. I'm not changing my colors. His presentation is mainly the same. What he's flipped are his ethics, his morals. He's willing to hit you in the face with the title belt or kick you in the nuts and get the cheap win. The point that you made is an excellent one too, where he wears the belt backwards and he wants to retire with the title belt so that it forces them to restart completely new, and he walks away with all the history.
I look at it this way, and you're right. And I think, and I'll be very honest with you, I think they are going to do that. When it comes time for the final match, which will most likely be a championship match, okay, they will have him win. He will retire with the belt and leave, where they will have to crown a new heavyweight championship of some kind. It's like in DC Comics, Crisis on Infinite Earths, if I remember correctly. It was, that comic book line was a I'll just say like a disaster piece that was running through the multiverse and just destroying worlds.
Yep.
Okay. They had to combine the remnants of all of the other Earths to one Earth. I think that is, and they did this in WCW also. They want to start fresh, where that's where in the DC comic lines they came out with the new 52. Okay, because it was Earth 52, if I remember correctly. And it was a brand new, fresh start for quote unquote for DC Comics at that time.
Yeah.
I think this is the way that Hunter, who figures all this stuff out within the WWE on how to restart, rebrand, possibly going from the PG era back to the Attitude era. Okay, it's like what they did in WCW with not Bischoff. What was that other guy's name? The New Yorker. I can't remember his name.
Vince Russo.
Yes, thank you. Where he stripped everybody of the titles in one night. So at the beginning of a Nitro, stripped everybody of the titles and said, we are starting fresh. We're going to have championship gauntlet matches. We're going to have, contender matches, whatever. And we're going to crown all new championships at this next pay-per-view. I think that's what they're going to be doing with this. Everybody's going to expect whoever fights him last on his retirement tour is going to win. I think they're going to pull the carpet out from anybody. John Cena is going to win. He's going to leave with the title. And they're going to, that Monday night, they're going to be like, we don't have a champion. He left. He's gone. Championship is gone. What are we going to do? And they're going to announce a whole new genre and maybe combine a whole lot of titles. In my opinion, I think there's way too many goddamn titles out there now. Okay. And start with a whole fresh new thing and go back to the Attitude Era.
I'm listening to what you're saying and I'm taking it all in and I'm thinking about it. And on the surface, I'm like, nah, they wouldn't do anything like that. But then you brought in the whole DC thing and it would become more and more of, it would become way more than it is already, Hunter's vision. And I'm like, is that too far out of the realm of possibility? Maybe not. Perhaps it could be if they really wanted to go in that direction.
You and I worked together for a while. We were both salesmen. We always had to think outside the box, but we had to do specific things at our job at that time. This is them thinking way, way the fuck outside of the box. Saying like, we need to do something in the very near future that is literally going to make everybody drop. This is not the same thing like Cena and CM Punk, where Punk won in Chicago, took the title, went home. The next day you saw online, there's the title sitting inside of his fridge. Okay? This is going to be the kind of thing where John Cena is just going to leave with the title and never come back for it. He'll probably be back for a stunt here or there, but leave, gone, period. End of discussion. Where they're going to have to start a whole new genre, a whole new regime of the WWE itself. And I see Hunter or Paul, we'll say Paul, doing that. Okay, because I can see in his face he is going, especially with Nick Khan, okay, and the whole TKO branch, the whole thing, they're going to go to a whole different thing. There was rumors that going around that at some point the UFC is going to be combined with the WWE, where they will have, octagon matches of a wrestler versus a UFC fighter or something. They're going to make this more real. I can see that with Cena leaving, this is the direction they're going to go in.
And in all honesty, that is one way all this can play out. And you're gonna have your doubters and be like, "Nah, that doesn't make sense. It's not. That's not gonna happen." And to that, I ask questions. Did you ever think that The Undertaker would lose his streak to Brock Lesnar before it happened? No, but it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever think that? Did you ever think that? Um, did you think that The Rock would come back and main event a WrestleMania? Not even one WrestleMania, but I guess now if you count WrestleMania 40, main event three WrestleManias after he
That's right. He
sold
did the
after
Saturday
he
night
quote
with
unquote yeah
Roman. Was it with Roman?
yeah the tag match against Roman and Cody and Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Did you ever think he would come back and main event three WrestleManias after he quote unquote retired in 2004? No, but it happened. So before anybody shits all over your prediction, how you're fantasy booking this, I ask the people watching this, could it happen? Because it could.
Only time will tell. That's what the story tell. That's what the dungeon masters are for.
Yeah, man.
That's what the
Um,
storytellers are for. They're the ones who come up with these ideas. And I'm telling you, if they were to run with that kind of an idea, it will flip the whole wrestling industry on its ass. And they'll be like, okay, this is something we never, just like the whole kick to Cody. This is something we never saw coming.
right. Now, I want to bring it to the SummerSlam card. We're going to do our predictions. And I got to write these down because the
Mm,
network likes to do a, like all the shows going up against each other to see who comes out with the most correct predictions, right? So
yeah.
let me pull up the SummerSlam card in this other tab right here. And you know what? I'm gonna put this up in. I'm gonna present this on the screen so that you can watch along with me. All right. Let me know if you see my screen.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna start off with night one. This is in this website's order. So starting night one, Gunther versus CM Punk for the world title. Who do you got?
Gunther.
Gunther. All right.
I think Punk is going after him just out of arrogance and hatred and, that kind of a thing. Gunther, I've been following for a number of years prior to WWE UK, where he was in the indies over in Ireland and England and Germany, where he was a lot bigger and heavier also. He's not a fake guy. He's not.
He's not. I saw his match on NXT UK against Ilya Dragunov, and oh my god,
Oh god, that chest chop he took
yeah, oh
that
yeah,
knocked him out. Yeah.
yep. And for that reason, I agree with you. I'm also gonna pick Gunther on this one, mostly because number one, he just got that title back. Um, I don't think that they would want to end his run this quickly.
No,
CM Punk is definitely going to win the title. 100%. He's going to win the title
but not
before
right now.
before his time is done in the ring. I just don't think that it's against Gunther that he's going to win it. I think that he I think this is just the way I like to see it. I would like to see him win the title at WrestleMania. That's just my personal opinion.
Mm.
He is so main event level that winning the title anywhere else kind of seems like a step down from WrestleMania. That's just what I think.
Yeah.
All right. Next we have Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill for the women's championship. Who do you got for this one?
Jade.
Jade. So it's Jade's time now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
AEW, she was the first ever women's TBS champion. She held it for 52 matches until she lost to no, it wasn't Chris Statlander. I forgot who she, when you turn 50 years old, you don't remember everything. I forgot who she lost to, But then, no, actually, I think it was Chris Statlander she lost it to. And then somebody took it from Chris several weeks later. She's a dominant force. She's got the build, she's got the body. She definitely has the body. And she's got the personality to take that title and run with it.
So I'm also going to go with Jade Cargill on this one, mostly because I feel that Tiffany Stratton's title run has sort of run its course at this point. She has not. I don't think that she has been firing on all cylinders since her WrestleMania match with Charlotte Flair. I think the flavor has kind of just gotten pretty plain at this point.
Tiffy times watch has died.
I think so. Yeah, I think a change of presentation, or maybe seeing her chase the title, is a better position for her right now. WWE has all the right people working there to make sure that Jade's title run is a successful one. She, like you said, she already has the look. I don't think that she's the most technical women's wrestler on the roster, but with the right opponents and the right matches, you could make her look like a superstar.
Yeah.
Next, we have Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. Who's your prediction for this one?
In my honest opinion, this would be the match where I would go to the bathroom.
Oh!
This is a gimmick match that I would not waste my time watching. I am not a fan of Jelly Roll. I am not a fan of Logan Paul. Okay? The only thing I do respect about Logan Paul is, yes, is he a self-made millionaire? Yes. He's got his podcasts and everything? Yes. He's a Pokemon card junkie for the Charizards. This is a gimmick match. This is a match to just take up time on one of the two nights. This is the kind of match where I would be like, okay, I'm going to go wash the dishes or something. I wouldn't bother with it.
So who do you have going over?
They will probably have Orton and Jelly Roll win it.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay, because you've got the baby faces versus the heels, that kind of a thing.
That's true. That's true. Normally they do have, like, if you have a celebrity coming in, 9 times out of 10, they'll have the celebrity going over, right? Yeah. I am actually going to go the opposite route. I think that I got to write this down too. I think that we're going to have Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul win this one. The reason why is we are heading towards another Randy Orton heel run, okay? And I believe that a loss to these guys when he's tag teaming with Jelly Roll is just going to build onto that.
He's going to snap at some point right after.
He's
always been a better heel than a face, Randy Orton. He's always been a better heel.
He's going to snap and he's going to RKO Jelly Roll simply because he lost. And he's not going to blame himself. He's going to blame Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
The other one of the most recent SmackDowns, I saw something where they were Jelly Roll and Randy Orton were left in the ring on the ground, right? And then you cut to a backstage segment and you see Randy Orton saying to Jelly Roll, "I'm sorry, man. I should have had your back better than that. I should have known better to have you out there. That's on me, man. That's on me." I'm watching him say it, and I'm like, this is not Randy Orton, man. Get this guy off my screen. This is not the Viper, the Legend Killer, where he's taking responsibility for something going wrong in the ring.
Where he's punting everybody in the head.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, that's a match that I'm just going to... No.
All right. Next, Women's Tag Team Championships. The Judgment Day, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez against Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. Who you got for this one?
I got to go with Alexa and Charlotte because, one, I've always just had this thing for Alexa Bliss. Since I first saw her in NXT and everything. But I see it honestly going with the Judgment Day because something is going to happen in this match where Alexa and Charlotte will lose, and then it will turn the two of them against each other, and then that'll set up an old rivalry from years ago, and then that'll culminate into something else. Where the Judgment Day will keep the titles, Liv comes back at SummerSlam possibly to take her title back from Roxanne. Roxanne won't let her have it, and then it starts a whole feud inside the Judgment Day.
I'm kind of going down the same thought, similar thought, where I'm also picking Judgment Day for this one. I think that with the titles still on them, you're able to keep driving the storyline of what sort of seems like Roxanne Perez trying to win over Dominic Mysterio and have it just forget about Liv Morgan. So
See,
I think that's what's going to continue on with them still being the champions.
You see, and that's the kind of thing that draws me away from the WWE sometimes. It's those kind of like cheesy storylines. Like, ooh, Liv is gone. I can get with her boyfriend now. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's those kind of storylines I can't stand within there.
That's fair. Okay. Cheesy storyline.
Cheesy soap opera type lines.
Cheesy soap opera, but sometimes cheesy soap opera makes money, man.
That is true.
All right, next, what I think might be the main event for night one, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus the Brawns, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed.
It's a 50-50. Breaker and Reed are a really good team together. Jey Uso has his whole momentum going. He was Intercontinental, lost it. He was heavyweight, lost it. Trying to get it back, blah, blah, blah. Reigns, when was the last time he was in the ring?
Mania.
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay. I see Braun taking that.
I agree.
And it's just to kick dirt in the face of Roman Reigns by Paul Heyman.
Yeah, I agree, man. You have normally WrestleMania is the end of something, but in this case, it was just a storyline beat. The story continues now, where it's Paul Heyman that is eventually going to get his come up against from Roman Reigns, the former wise man, now the Oracle. This is just going to be another chapter in the storyline, man. But I wanted to be more focused on Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed than on Paul Heyman, because if it's about Paul Heyman, you're going to find yourself in a situation where either A, you lost to Paul Heyman. Okay, that's not going to look good for your character. Or option B, you won against Paul Heyman, a non-competitor. How much of a win is that for the character? If they
and just as a side note, Paul Heyman goes on Mount Rushmore.
Oh, there's no argument here. Absolutely. But yeah, the Brawns I think are gonna take this one. You're building them up so well now with Seth Rollins on the shelf, supposedly. It looks like that they're choosing Braun.
No, he is. He is on the shelf. There was actually some of him with his daughter. He was just walking down the street and he was on crutches.
Okay. Well, if he really is on the shelf, man, then I wish him a speedy recovery. But it could all be for show, man. It could all be for show. All right, and I guess this is the last match for night one: Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross.
As much as I want Karrion to win it, I'm gonna say Sami Zayn's gonna win it.
Oh yeah,
it's just to prove a point to him that he doesn't need to listen to anybody. He doesn't need to listen to some guy saying, you got to let yourself go, let out that anger, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be one of those things where Sammy's just going to do what he does on his own.
Man, Sami is the ultimate underdog, man,
mm-hmm.
where just when you think he's going to lose, something happens, man, and he just comes out being the winner. And no matter how many times he comes out being the winner somehow for whatever reason. He still looks like an underdog a lot of the time, and some may say that's a weakness. I think that's a strength to really get people to be emotionally invested in Sami Zayn. I'm going to go with Karrion Kross on this one.
I would
Karrion
go
Kross.
Karrion Kross because Scarlett's just hot.
You're so easily swayed, man.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
I'm going with Karrion on this one. I think that they've built this up for such a long period of time. I think Sami Zayn is due for some sort of character change, and I also feel like if you end this with Sami Zayn winning, then what's next for Karrion Kross?
Well, I'll go with agreement on that. The reason being is if you've seen the recent videos of him and everything, the one thing that really pissed him off about this company was that WrestleMania was in his hometown.
Vegas.
And he was not on the card.
Nope.
I've been watching him since he had his debut for me was in TNA as Killer Cross. Then he transitioned over to Lucha Underground as the White Rabbit for the Wonderland Gang, which was him. God, there was like 2 or 3 other people part of that gang itself, but he was the leader. And then when he debuted in NXT, people want more of him.
Yeah, they do.
And they won't give it to him. You know, there's videos, there's actual personal videos of him walking down through Fremont Street. And they were saying, how come you're not on WrestleMania's card? And he's like, because they don't want me to be on the card. And then he did this one little interview. It was like a 5-minute thing. And he just went off the rails on it about, his whole tenure within NXT, WWE. I think this, as much as I know they're going to probably give it to Sami Zayn, this is, I think, going to be the absolute push that they're going to give to Karrion Kross to put him out of that B roster, you might say, jobber roster, to the main roster itself, where he will become a contender for one of the heavyweight titles. Okay, not Intercontinental or Europe or U.S. title. I think they're going to push him more on that heavyweight or universal title at this point.
Well said. Now we're going to be going into night 2. Starting with the main event, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, street fight. Who do you got?
They're going to... It's a no-brainer. They're going to have Cena keep it.
Cena keep it. Okay.
Yeah. That's what we were discussing earlier about him winning that final match, leaving with the title. They're going to keep it on him because he's only got, a dozen dates left or something?
Yeah.
From what they've been saying. So I don't know how many are left.
I think it's 14. 14 are left.
I see it. It's going to be Mania next year. It's going to be the final match.
I'm going with Cody on this one, more so because I hear a lot of scuttlebutt about a possible double turn. Cody turning and John Cena flipping back to a babyface. Does Cody need to turn heel? No, he does not. But I think that there's been quite the desire to see what a heel Cody Rhodes looks like. And it's possible that we may see a double turn here with Cody taking a less than ethical approach to win the title.
Look at Cody when he left WWE because the whole Stardust thing killed him. He went to New Japan, joined the Bullet Club, the black hair. Fast forward a couple years to AEW. He's got the blonde hair. Okay. There was one match he did. It was a street fight where he came out with the black hair. Okay. Nice guys don't, the bad guys don't wear white hats.
Mm-hmm.
I see that there's a possibility that this is a street fight. He's gonna come out, and if he does this, I'll actually be really blown away. He's gonna come out with the black hair.
Ooh, all right.
If he comes out with the black hair, he's coming out for a fight, but I still see Cena winning it.
All right. All right. We're gonna go a little bit rapid fire with the next ones here. Women's World Championship: Naomi versus Io Sky and Rhea Ripley.
Naomi.
Agreed. Naomi. Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria.
Becky.
I'm going with Lyra on this one, dude.
Mm.
I'm going with Lyra. This has really, this go around with Becky this time around, I feel like has elevated Lyra a little bit, and I think that was the purpose behind it all along, to kind of elevate her, where she stands on the card. I think she was mid-level superstar. Now she's approaching like hot main event mid-card. This is before the end of the year. I think she's going to move on from Intercontinental and just go straight for the Women's Championship.
I agree with you on that one. I'm not a big fan of Lyra Valkyria, to be very honest with you.
Okay.
I didn't follow her too much in NXT, and I really learned more about her when she hit the main roster. So
fair. All right, next steel cage match: Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu.
I can't say really anything on this one, and here's why. Because of my second job, I'm not home Friday and Saturday nights. So I don't really get the chance to follow SmackDown as much as I want to. I know of Solo Sikoa from the Bloodline. I know Jacob Fatu from the indie circuits, and everything. I could see if Jacob Fatu comes back with that attitude that he did when he first came in, okay, where he was the hitman, you might say, Solo Sikoa. I see Jacob taking the title from Solo.
All right, I'm actually
putting these two guys in a cage is going to be. That's going to be a violent match.
Yes, I'm going Solo on this one. Since his run in NXT, this has been his first singles title run on the main roster, and having him with the title and being backed up by his MFT, I think that's just going to make him an even bigger, badder heel that new baby faces have to overcome. Jacob Fatu is in a great position where he's so agile. I think he's better chasing the title as opposed to being a champion. I don't think he needs the championship right now. Solo Sikoa needs a championship more, and he needs, and this is going to level him up to be a more threatening heel. Because let's be honest, man. Last year, when he was the self-proclaimed tribal chief, I understand that you're more AEW than WWE, but if you watched any of that storyline, did you ever perceive Solo to be as threatening of a tribal chief compared to Roman?
I could see that Solo was more threatening than Roman because he is more aggressive than Roman. Roman is tactical. Solo is more physical.
I saw Solo as more of a wannabe, like a wannabe tribal chief, wannabe gangster type.
Yeah.
And I think that hurt him. I understand that it was just something different rather than making him a carbon copy of Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns had his own aura, man. And you couldn't replicate that with Solo. But the whole wannabe thing just didn't make him feel so much like a threatening heel. And I think him having gold on him and his own MFT, his own bloodline, this time around with the players involved will make him a better heel to overcome for new baby faces down the line.
Yeah.
All right. Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Championship. Who do you got?
As much as I want him to win it, I'm gonna have to unfortunately go with Dominic. I see Finn. I see JD interfering somehow. There you go.
I'm a fan of Dominic. I like what he's doing. I think his time as a chicken shit heel, that's going to run its course unless they do something to tweak up his presentation a little bit. I think that it's going to come a time where he needs to be more of a fighting heel rather than a chicken shit heel. That time isn't just yet, but I'm just a fan of Dominic. AJ Styles is great, but AJ Styles is in a level where he doesn't need a championship to really.
I see AJ losing. He's going to go back to TNA.
Ooh, okay.
He's going to go do a run in TNA because he was just at Slammiversary a couple of weeks ago. So I see something happening with AJ. AJ loses. He says, you know what? I think I need to go back to my roots.
That's a good prediction. Okay. All right. And finally, the last match. This might steal the show, quite honestly, in night 2. But we have the WWE Tag Team Championship. The Wyatt Six defending against DIY, the Street Profits, Fraxium, Motor City Machine Guns, and Andrade with Rey Fenix.
I don't know, man. This one can go literally in 6 different directions. I don't know.
I don't know either, man. Like you, I'm unable to catch SmackDown. I don't have cable anymore. I stream everything.
Same here. Same here.
I'm honestly more so into the gimmick of the match than I am of the actual participants. So that kind of says it. That says it for you right there. But if I had to pick somebody, I would go with Andrade and Rey Fenix. Andrade, since he's been back, I feel like he's been getting the short stick of a return.
I agree with you on that. Same with Rey Fenix. I don't think he's getting the push like Penta has gotten.
Exactly, yeah. And if they give him a shot with the title belts, I think that might turn their careers around a little bit. Wyatt Six as champions, granted they just won the titles not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're so over that they don't need the titles. And Andrade and Phoenix need it more.
They're a gimmick group for Bray Wyatt. They're just trying to keep his name legacy alive, that kind of a thing. In my opinion, they should have never done the Wyatt Six to begin with. Don't get me wrong. Rotunda, Bray Wyatt, he was a phenomenal character, personality, the whole 9. The man passed away.
Yep.
Let his legacy live on with that. There was no need to bring this Wyatt Six into this to keep the Fiend and Bray Wyatt still going. Okay. DIY, you got Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. We know the history between those two guys. The Profits, same thing. The Guns, they were better off in TNA, in my opinion. So, yeah.
All right. So there's our predictions, guys. We got my prediction. I don't know if you wrote yours down, Scott, but so my predictions that I wrote down: Gunther over Punk, Jade over Tiffany Stratton,
Agree.
Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul over RK Roll.
Did you just say RK Roll?
That's what they're calling them.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Judgment Day winning the women's tag titles. Braun Breaker, Bron's winning. Karrion Kross winning over Sami Zayn. Cody winning the title against Cena. Naomi retaining. Lyra Valkyria beating Becky Lynch. Solo Sikoa over Jacob Fatu. Dominic Mysterio over AJ Styles. and Andrade and Rey Fenix winning the TLC match.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Scott, we've been at this for nearly 2 hours now.
Yeah, I just noticed.
I told you, man, this was going to go fast.
Yeah.
An hour was going to go quick. When I saw an hour hit, I'm like, we'll probably go just until like just 30 minutes more. And now we're at 10:50. Like,
yeah,
I can talk pro wrestling with you for hours, man, and we pretty much did. I really want to thank you for coming on here, man. I was really excited for you to be on here. This went even better than I predicted. I loved hearing your takes on other wrestling promotions, the height of Hulkamania in the 80s, and how your love for professional wrestling started back in that day. It was really great to hear all of that, man. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for talking wrestling with me for all this time.
Yep. I'm actually going to be reaching out to one of my buddies, maybe for a future show of yours. My friend Matt does wrestling cosplay.
Nice.
He does Erwin R. Shyster. He does the Sandman. He does Roddy Piper. So maybe for future, it might be good talking with him. And if I can join you guys on that one, I'd love to.
Michael chiming in saying, I think Dominic Mysterio loses to AJ as I think he wins the Fatal 4-Way for the AAA title. That's true. Dominic Mysterio is supposed to show up. He was
just down in AAA a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true. That is a very good point, Mike, for chiming in. Thank you for that. Thank you for watching the show, dude.
Yeah, I think it's the first one all night. I didn't even know if anybody was on.
Mitch chimed in telling us to have a great show. But it's all good, man. Talking wrestling is so much fun. And I'm going to end this asking you one last question. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Pro wrestling angles, storylines, just like any story, when you read a book or when you're watching a movie, there comes a lesson to be learned from whatever angle that gets played that we see on our TV screens. What would you say you have learned from pro wrestling, whether it be something from a storyline, a memorable storyline that you hold near and dear to you, or something that you learned from pro wrestling that you would like to pass along to the future of your family?
Anything is possible. Anything is possible. You have people in the indie circuits right now, like ISPW. I'm friends with one of the guys there. His name is Joe Bracco, but he goes by the name of Joe Clean.
Oh, okay. I love Joe Clean.
I used to work with him at one of my last jobs. Okay. And I haven't had a chance to go see him live because most of the shows they do are usually like mid-South Jersey area. Okay. But when I talked to him a couple of years ago, when he first finally got into this, he says, I'm living the dream I've wanted to do since I was a kid.
Oh, so cool.
So, yeah, I look at it this way. These people have made it to their dream of what they've wanted to do their whole life. You know, that's the way I look at it.
Anything is possible.
Exactly. Anything is possible.
That is so true in wrestling and in life. Anything is possible. Scott, before we go, I want to give you a chance. Is there anything that you want to plug for anybody for anything, any events that you got coming up in your professional life that you might want people to know about?
Be very honest with you, no.
No? Okay.
I work for a reputable cigar industry online website. I head up a concierge services team with them. I am doing a cigar event on the 17th at a private biker event over in Morris County, over in Morris Plains. I will be at the Casa de Monte Cristo on Route 10 tomorrow night for the working at the Havana night at the Altadis table, helping people select and purchasing cigars. I am in the cigar industry,
Okay.
so much better than Radio Shack back in the day.
Better than having to redo those battery planograms, I'm sure.
Not just that, the inventory on the tool chest or on the parts drawers. We remember that. But anyway.
And Michael chiming in again. I've been watching pro wrestling for 50 years. To me, it's the storyline and the characters.
Yeah.
Man, Mike, dude, that's so cool. Next year, I'm coming up on 30 years watching pro wrestling. I started in '96. We're coming up on 2026 next year. I thought I was watching for a while. I got Scott here watching 10 years before me, and now we got Mike watching for 50 years, man. All in all, we're all winners, man. We've been watching pro wrestling for as long as we have been. We love it, and we continue to watch it no matter what the haters say.
It's like I said earlier, professional wrestling, whichever version you watch, whether it's New Japan, AEW, WWE, whoever, for anybody, men and women, it's a great version of a guy's soap opera. Is what it is. Every week, there's always a new storyline, and it carries over to that next week. And you'll be like, okay, I got to watch it this week. I got to see what the hell's going on,
I remember Zbyszko attacking Bruno and them two in Shea Stadium cage match.
I've heard of that match. Yeah. I've heard about that. That was like, I want to say that was like early 80s, I think.
Wow.
Larry Zbyszko and Bruno Sammartino.
Oh man, I got a pro wrestling confession before we sign off. So I can't believe I'm going to say that. I've never said this.
You're El Grande Americano, aren't you?
No. But while we're on the subject, El Grande Americano is clearly Jason Jordan. Jason Jordan is El Grande Americano. I don't care what you say.
I read somewhere that the one you had, it's Ludwig Kaiser, but the one who jumped into the ring the other night was supposedly Pete Dunne.
Pete Dunne, yeah, I think it was. So my little pro wrestling confession before we sign off. I went to a Chiller Theater convention a decade ago, and I'm walking in from the parking lot to go inside, and I realize I'm walking side by side to one of the guests that's going to be there, and I know this guy's a wrestler, and I stopped him, like, excuse me, but are you Bruno Sammartino? He looks at me, he stops, he said, son, I'm Tito Santana. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
That's a hell of a difference.
Yep. It shows.
Well, supposedly Tito Santana has a wrestling school somewhere in North Jersey here, I think.
Oh yeah,
I
didn't know that.
Something about that a couple of years ago. So.
Oh man, yeah, that's my little pro wrestling confession right there. So, yeah, that was a not so smart moment for me. But
just to give you one little confession of mine, real quick, about I want to say 20 years ago, Roddy Piper. He was doing his book signing at Borders Bookstore in East Brunswick. Bought the ticket, bought the book, waiting online. I go up to him. He goes, is there anything you want me to sign in the book? I was like, yes. He goes, what? I was like, I want you to sign the book. I'm all out of bubble gum. What? Roddy Piper's very first movie was the movie They Live. Okay. His famous line is he goes into a bank and he says, I've come here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
Oh, yes, I do know this.
He signed the book. I'm all out of bubble gum.
Oh, that's so cool. And you still have that to this day, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I still have the book. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah, man. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming on, Scott. Thank you so much for your time. 2 hours. What a great stream. Thank you so much. Let's do this again. And
absolutely,
whoever you have that you think would want to be interested in coming on to the show, give them my email, hottakesandheadlocks@gmail.com. this show will only keep going as only if we can spread it out, word of mouth, all that stuff. If anybody watching this wants to be on the show, email me, hottakesandheadlocks@gmail.com. All right. Scott, thank you again. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week. Good night.